And this first race is the women's 400 IM. And Rowdy, this is going to be a doozy. You've got Katie Ledecky swimming the IM, world record set by Katinka Hosu, and then Katie Hoff holds the American record set back in the Olympic trials in 2008. But Ledecky, so impressive that with all her freestyle prowess, she's able to come do this.
And that's one of the great things that she is really underrated in the fact that she has tremendous versatility. We talked about, she was the American record holder in the 400-yard IM this season until Easton took it away.
Bien Nguyen of Vietnam in lane 1. Her first pool was the canal that ran in front of her home in Vietnam. She's a captain in the Vietnam People's Army. Madison Cox of the USA is in lane 2. Just missed the Olympic team, was 4th in both IMs at trials. Melanie Margalis entered the week atop the Arena Pro Swim Series leaderboard. Two-time national champion with the University of Georgia and a gold medalist in Rio, swimming the prelims of the 800 freestyle relay. Then Ledecky at the Pac-12 championships in February. She set the American record in the 400-yard IM. She would give that up 3 weeks later to her teammate Ella Easton. Mary Sophie Harvey of Canada won the 400 IM at the Canadian Nationals last August. And then there's Easton, who currently holds the American record in the 400-yard IM. And what a career she's putting together. Brooke Forty, Lakeside Swim Team in Kentucky, just 18 years old, and she'll be in lane 7 and then in lane 8. Now 25 years old, two-time Olympian from London and Rio. Haley Anderson took silver in London in the 10K. Ella Easton in lane 6, champion the NCAAs last month in the 400-yard IM, setting that NCAA record. This is going to be a duel between her and Ledecky. That's what it's shaping up at.
And I think Melanie Margalis is going to be a big part of this race. Madison Cox could be. And really, the swimmer with the best time of any of them, of these 8 swimmers, is Mary Sophie Harvey from Canada in lane number 5. So I wouldn't be surprised if any one of 4 or 5 of these swimmers could win this.
Mary Sophie Harvey was 9th in the 400 IM at the Canadian Olympic trials last April. Her best finish of the 7 events she raced in.
Yeah, her best time, 4:36.6. It was just a little bit ahead of everybody else in the field. So she could be a big factor, and she's got a great freestyle. She was 3rd to 400 last night, so she'll be able to come home on this field, and obviously Katie Ledecky will be able to do the same thing.
There's somebody else with a pretty good freestyle in this race. Katie Ledecky is in lane 4, lane 1 at the top of your screen, lane 8 at the bottom. Down in lane 6, there's Ella Easton. It's Ledecky and Easton who hit the wall 1st and 2nd. Easton a 2/10 lead on Ledecky, and then there's Margalis 45 100ths behind as they transition to the backstroke leg.
Got a lot of comments last night from a lot of people on my social networking, and text messages were flying when I said that Katie was the greatest female swimmer in history. And, you know, there's a lot of dynamics that go in behind that. You know, you could argue a lot of swimmers.
I've heard you talk about Tracy Calkins.
Yeah,
before.
Tracy Calkins, Janet Evans, Dawn Fraser, Natalie Coughlin, Yana Kochkova, Shirley Babishov. The list goes on and on. But when you think about the credentials, what it takes to be the greatest, Olympic performance individually is #1, no doubt about it. And world record, longevity, consistency, versatility, and Olympic medals. 5 years in a row, she's been #1 in the world in the 400 and 800, and technically the 1500, even though the 1500 has not swum the Olympic year. 3 straight events, 5 straight years. It's hard to argue Katie Ledecky being #1 in the world. She matches all of those credentials, except maybe versatility. But for versatility is the fact that she can swim everything from the 100 to the 1500. If that's not versatile, I don't know what is.
Ledecky with a 2.5 lead on Margalis, and then Madison Cox as they transition to the breaststroke. And you got to have some versatility if you're going to do this. Rowdy, she set the American record in the 400-yard IM, which of course includes 100 yards of breaststroke. How does she get a chance to practice this?
Well, and this is one of the things I think her coaches over the last couple of years, first of all, Bruce Gimmel back home in D.C., and then now her Stanford coach, Greg Meehan, they've been kind of working with that. And I don't think Katie is against that. I think that versatility and the ability to work on strokes that are not just freestyle is a healthy healthy thing because I think it keeps that interest engaged in what you're doing in the pool. Again, swimming is a very difficult sport, especially for a distance swimmer, Rich. When you're doing the same thing over and over again, especially freestyle. And because she's a freestyler, doing it over and over and over again every single day, I think it's good to kind of broaden that horizon and jump into an IM like this.
Well, if somebody's going to knock her off here, they'll have to have a pretty good lead heading into the freestyle. You touch that wall first in freestyle, your lead can grow exponentially because you get to swim the freestyle first coming off the breaststroke. And it is Mary Sophie Harvey of Canada in lane 5, half a body length on Ledecky, and Margalis 68/100 behind, then Cox. But here will come Ledecky in lane 4 in the freestyle leg.
Well, she was 3:38.6 at the 300, Katie Ledecky. She was 5th at the 300. Let's see if she has enough to run down Sophie Harvey, because remember, Mary Sophie Harvey was 3rd in the 400 freestyle. Now, that was about 10 seconds behind Katie Ledecky, but nevertheless, she does have a strong freestyle. I think Katie Ledecky will end up going by at least 2 or 3 of them, and now she's starting to close in a little bit more on Harvey, and believe me, she knows exactly where Harvey is, breathing right into her. She's dragging on her hip right there. Will she be able to go by her, though, at the end?
Rowdy, it's only April, but this is a blast. Here comes Ledecky. She's chasing Canada's Mary Sophie Harvey. 20 meters to go. Can she get her?
I don't think she's going to get her.
Mary Sophie Harvey of Canada, the touch. And she's got her. 4:38.05. She gets her by 11/100ths. What a race for the Canadian Mary Sophie Harvey.
I'd just like to call home tonight and say, hey, I just beat Katie Ledecky. Not a lot of people can say that over the last 5 years. Not a lot of people can say that. And what a tremendous swim from Mary Sophie Harvey. Only 17 years of age. Again, we talked about Canada earlier, how great that country is doing in the world of swimming. Top times right and left. Sydney Pickram has the 3rd fastest time in the world this year. She's from Canada. 59.5 on the in, by the way, for Katie Ledecky. Here's the back to breast. Katie Ledecky has 3 strong strokes, no question about it. Her fly back and breast are all, fly back and free are all world class, Rich. But there's no question she's got a lot of work to do in the breaststroke, and she'll be the first one to tell you. I think it's improving. I think she's got a lot of room to improve, but still, she was able to come home that last 100 and really nail that 3rd turn there, that last turn going to the wall. But what a swim from Mary Sophie Harvey to hold her off at the end, not by much. As you said, it was real close at the end, but what a swim. And Mary Sophie Harvey, congratulations. You just held off, well, arguably the best swimmer in the world over the last 5 years. How did that feel?
I think that was a pretty good swim. I'm happy that I was able to get my hand to the wall. I was seeing Katie the last 100 and I was a bit freaking out, but it's good.
Yeah, I think we'd all be freaking out. Mary Sophie, with so many great young Canadian swimmers, Penny Alexiak, Taylor Ruck, many more, where do you feel about where Canadian swimming is right now?
I feel like since last summer, we just kept the momentum, and I'm pretty excited for the team for Worlds, and I'm sure we're going to do great, and I'm super excited to represent Canada.
Congratulations, Mary Sophie.
Thank
Tremendous
you.
swim.
Thanks.
As Mary Sophie Harvey, she wins the 400 IM by 11/100ths over Katie Ledecky. She gets to make that phone call, Rowdy, you talking about, that not many people have made. She knocks off Ledecky, and then Madison Cox finishes in 3rd. Coming up next, Josh Pernot and Chase Kaler square off in the men's 400 IM.